Hey YouTube, welcome back to part 3 of the Minuteman series. Now we're going to be talking about gear loadout. In this particular section, we're going to be looking at a self-contained type of system. You don't want to be dragging along a duffel bag or a sling pack in most situations. If that's all you have, that's all you have though, but you pretty much would want to go with more of maybe like a backpack system, but even better, a load-bearing vest or an actual ballistic vest. Those would probably be the best. I think an actual like an armored vest or a MOLLE vest that has a plate carrier in it or is a plate carrier, that's going to be the best way to go because you can attach the gear on the vest. Now, and going back to duffel bags or other handheld bags, I mean, there's certain exceptions to that. Some packs, though, and some pieces of gear are just too large and too bulky to actually put on a vest system. So obviously, maybe a more comprehensive medical pack or bag would be self-contained in a duffel. Also, maybe, let's see here, maybe a toolkit, maybe even you know, things that would be kind of large and bulky, like bolt cutters and stuff, would have to go in its own bag. And you may even have a secondary backup loadout bag for other weapons, you know, different tactical gear that may be too bulky to go on your vest or on your belt, and that may be outside of your everyday carry. A backpack isn't the worst idea to some degree, but it takes a moment to swing it around and open it up and get things out. So let's just go ahead and default that a load-bearing vest or a plate carrier with MOLLE attachments, so you can attach gear and pouches on there to get quick access to, say, ammunition or magazines for a rifle or a medical kit. You can have personal IFAKs, you know, individual first aid kits, multi-tools, flashlights, and such like that. So let's go down the actual list. Now, if you're using a ballistic, you know, vest system, a plate carrier system, you might as well go ahead and get at least some level of body armor. Some people don't like talking about this, but this is just the fact that you may be shot at, and you don't want to die. Now, there's soft armor and there's hard armor. I may have to do a whole series on body armor, but I debated if I should go into more detail about this, but let's just go ahead and simplify it. Most time, as soft body armor, and in almost all cases, is going to be, well, at least all the cases that I know of, that it's going to be able to stop most bird shot from a shotgun, even though if you're close enough that just the impact and the amount of sheer force could do some very grave, you know, trauma and bruising, which it could end up killing you, you know, over time. But in terms of stopping the actual pellets and BBs, yes, it will most likely. So a level 3A, which is typically the highest level for soft body armor, and I'd probably go with Kevlar above the other ones, would be a really good choice as a soft insert body armor. And so besides most handgun rounds and the shotgun, you know, the actual bird shot for shotguns, all the way up to a 12 gauge, it'll stop those rounds. Now, pretty much when you talk about a level 3 and level 3 plus and a level 4, which are typically the 3 ranges you have for hard body armor, you can stop pretty much all handgun rounds, all shotgun, you know, rounds. You know, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be able to survive some of that if you don't have a good trauma plate in some of those situations. But in most cases, you will be able to survive it. And most rifle rounds. Rifle rounds are going to be the most difficult to defeat, especially if they're very, very high velocity and they have enough, you know, bullet weight for penetration. And of course, depending on what the bullet is made of. And so, you know, I mean, that's something that you have to pick on what is your sensitivity of weight, because you got to carry this stuff. And the more coverage and protection, the heavier it's going to be. I think I would personally probably say, even though I would love to have a level 4 body armor in my, you know, in my system, I think that I would probably go, if I was going to try to be mobile, probably like a level 3A and get the highest level of soft body armor. At least you have the ability to, you know, to pretty much negate almost all the handgun rounds and some shotgun. So that would be probably the best compromise of any of it. You could set down even one more and go like a level 2 to get even a lighter weight option. That's up to you. So you might want to do more research on that. Okay, so what about the actual gear that you carry on your person, on your vest, for example, in pouches or in pockets. Maybe you have various cargo pants and pockets on there. And this is going to be outside of your everyday carry, unless you're a minimalist and you just want to kind of incorporate some of that in this list as well. So without making a longer video here, let's just get right into it. A medical kit, like an IFAC, an individual medical kit, but I would kind of double up on it, you know, pretty heavy, because it may not be just for you. It may be for another person. You have to share some of that kit, especially if you don't have your comprehensive medical kit available right then and there. A nice light, and I hate to overuse the word tactical, but you definitely want possibly a tactical light, you know, with a strobe mode and a pretty decent output. I'd probably even go so far to say you'd want something that could be a non-lethal self-defense tool, maybe even a cannulated bezel or serrated bezel for an impact tool, but I'd say between 400 or 500 lumens with the ability to step down to a lower output and a strobe mode. The next item would be a sidearm. For obvious reasons, for personal protection. It could be your everyday carry sidearm. That would be fine. In this loadout, though, it may be better overall, though, to have it outside the waistband for easier access, because you are going into a threat. You're not trying to avoid a threat in that sense. So that's something to consider. Now, in terms of a long arm, you definitely want that available. You may not actually go to the scene with the long arm on you, like a carbine rifle or something, or a shotgun, but you probably would want to keep it in the vehicle or very close by, so if you had to egress from that location, you could have more firepower. It would be pretty bad if the police showed up and you were heavily armed with an AR-15 or AK-47. You would look pretty much out of place, and you would look more threatening probably than most criminals. So you got to be careful with that. Fixed blade. Besides your everyday carry, you're probably going to have a folding blade. You'd want to have a fixed blade. It doesn't have to be very big. It can be just maybe like an 8 to 9 inch blade. At least that's what I would have, and keep that razor sharp. A whistle for signaling, a hydration pack. Now, if you have a backpack on top of maybe a vest or something like that, that can get kind of cumbersome. But instead of having a water bottle flipping around and you know, moving all over your body, a hydration pack that can be integrated and actually woven in the MOLLE on the back of a load-bearing vest, or especially a ballistic vest, a plate carrier, is going to be the most ideal and the most secure, and you know, it's going to give you the less hassle. Safety equipment: goggles, gloves, knee pads, and a reflective strip, especially if you're out on a road or you need to be identified by law enforcement that you're a friendly. That could be definitely some items depending on what's the situation. It could be an earthquake and you're digging someone out of the rubble, and you want to have something that's reflective so that other workers know where you're at. So if they have to go get more help and reinforcement, they can identify you a little bit quicker to get you that help. Of course, your cell phone to call for police and to keep an open line with dispatch while these emergencies are going on for your protection, because most dispatches across the United States record all the conversations, which can be a safety net and a legal protection for you. The next thing would be a police scanner, or maybe a two-way radio if the police even allow it for you, to keep in contact that way as well, or to hear at least police traffic and fire and EMS traffic to know how close and how fast or how far away help is. A notepad and pen would be ideal to record information. Extra magazines for your handgun and rifle on your vest, quick accessible. And of course, at least one means of non-lethal types of, on the continuum of force, you know, a non-lethal tool. So it would probably be, in most cases, either a pepper spray or a collapsible baton. And that's kind of one of the reasons why police pick those two above all the others that we've done a video just recently about, because they tend to be the most impacting, if you will, no pun intended, but they do have the ability to stop a threat, or at least deter it a little bit more than most, without having to get as aggressive and in your face and hand to hand. So it still gives you a little bit of distance between you and the attacker or the threat. So with that, though, I hope that helps. Hope this is informative, and you get a few more ideas of how to create your loadout for your Minuteman system. I wish you the best and all of safety, and just be careful out there. If you do this, make sure you contact law enforcement, introduce yourself, be a part of your community, introduce yourself, and also join the neighborhood watch, as we talked about before. And just don't take it for granted that people know who you are unless you introduce yourself, and don't be a stranger to your neighbors. As always, be safe.